Welcome to the Wow MD podcast, where in each episode, you will get in 30 minutes or less valuable pearls about holistic wellness, anti-aging, hormone therapies, beauty trends, and other facts you should know about our medical healthcare system and your health that no one is telling you. My name is Dr. Mirala Chernayanu. I am a conventional board-certified OBGYN physician who, after the loss of my father due to a careless and uncaring medical team, decided to retrain and seek certification in anti-aging and restorative therapies. What I know, I am happy to share with you. This week's episode is ending the mini-series on being independently healthy, which I started on July 4. And if you have not listened to the previous two episodes, they're mainly about what's covered, what's not covered, why medical insurance has changed, and what is medical insurance looking like, and what is its purpose in today's modern health insurance market. And in this episode, I want to switch gears a little bit and discuss preventive care and continue on the theme of being independently healthy, meaning you do not have to depend on anyone other than yourself to being healthy and to maintaining your health. What's unfortunate is that most patients today believe that they have to depend on their health insurance plan to keep them healthy. And this is a fallacy and a misinformation. And I discussed this a little bit more in the previous episodes, and I might tune on it a little bit in this episode. Remember, I told you, if you haven't listened, you can go back to my first episode. It's not your health insurance plan's obligation to keep you healthy. But I will recap a little bit here. The medical insurance that you purchase today on the medical insurance market, also called health insurance market, is only here to provide you with coverage for catastrophic, high expense medical services. And because the topic today is preventive care, most insurance plans still cover preventive care, but those services are extremely limited. And what you think is preventive is not the same as what the health insurance plan believes to be preventive or determines it is preventive care. For example, your medical insurance plan will cover a wellness physical for which they pay an approximate $100 to maximum $150. And if you're a doctor or nurse practitioner or a mid-level provider will address other medical conditions at the time of your wellness physical, those are billed separately. They're paid separately, and they are subject to your deductible. It doesn't matter that they are done at the time of your wellness checkup. So if you get a bill after a wellness checkup with the doctor where you thought, well, it's preventive care, so it should be 100% covered, or it might be a visit where the doctor reviewed your blood pressure and adjusted your medication, or your thyroid function was reviewed and your thyroid medication was refilled, or you had an electrocardiogram done for palpitations or because you're over 50, or you discussed testosterone therapy if you're a man, or estrogen and testosterone therapy if you're a woman, etc., right? All these situations are coded and reimbursed differently and separately. Now, in your mind, you might believe, well, they're all done at the time of the physical, so I get to take care of all my problems and be covered, and I don't have to pay anything. It is not so. You will get a bill for the additional services that you receive at the time of your annual checkup. Unfortunately, with very little understanding of what happened, the patient expects everything will be covered, is the annual, right? Some get really upset and believe the doctor did something wrong and they didn't bill correctly. Like I said earlier, the doctor provides a service. The doctor will expect payment, will bill for the service, and sometimes patients, interestingly enough, disagree with the service they already received. And sometimes I've even seen clients who said, I never asked for the service, and they simply said, I'll refuse to pay. So preventive care has a very different meaning. What you believe is preventive is very different in your mind than the health insurance plan covenant is with you, which interestingly enough, no one really knows what the heck it is until the claim is billed and after the service has happened. And either the doctor gets the payment or you get a bill because the payment was not provided to the doctor and your service was not covered. Now, let me ask you this question. And if you're a faithful listener, I've asked this question before, but people don't bother thinking about it. What consumer industry do you know that provides services with the promise of pay? And only if the service that is provided is approved after the service is provided, when both the client and service provider have no clue what is covered and what isn't. You show me an industry that is functioning well on that premise. You don't go shopping and hand out your credit card expecting your credit card company might or might not approve your purchase. You simply have a line of credit and you use it. Imagine you actually get the shoes because it's a promise that your credit card will pay for it, but the credit card company does not approve the purchase. Now you have to pay for the shoes, and the shop wants their shoes back. And if you've actually used the shoes, you can't return them, so you have to pay for them. So now you start arguing with the credit card company and the merchant. You are dissatisfied, disappointed, and angry and frustrated with the merchant and the credit card company. And is everyone's fault but yours? Well, you got the shoes, you wore the shoes, but you don't want to pay for the shoes. That is unfortunately happening every day with patients. And the belief that having a health insurance plan that they bought with a very expensive monthly premium entitles them to all the services that are offered at the specific practice that they go to or at the doctor they have chosen. And here's the thing. No one really budgets for the uncovered, unexpected medical services on top of the expensive premiums. And it is not your doctor's fault that you are getting a service that is not covered. It comes down to your specific insurance plan that you have chosen. And when you pay your premium, you pay it to your insurance plan. You do not pay the premium to your doctor. And if your plan does not pay your doctor, you will have to pay. Doctors are struggling, and most doctors who are in private practice, who own their practice, their business, are struggling to stay afloat. There is an expectation that they should somehow continue to operate and provide services for the promise of pay. And when that promise is not fulfilled by the insurance plan and the patient receives the service, they refuse to pay for it, the doctor should just keep going, not change the service, not change the practice of providing it, and keep accepting the insurance plan customers when they know that the services are not covered. That is exactly how doctors go broke, or they have to work slaving 50 to 80 hours a week to keep their medical team, their patients, and the insurance plan patients happy. Who cares about the doctor's happiness? Who cares about their well-being? Well, let me tell you, it's not the insurance company who is underpaying the doctors, and it's not the doctor's medical team who are simply there to do a job, get paid for it. And on top of everything else, the medical personnel on the doctor's team are holding the doctor responsible for paying their payroll on time. Some even expect bonuses and don't care at all if the doctor is not making any money, because ultimately we're all a little bit selfish. It's about us. It's about how do we feed our families. We all have families to care for and bills to pay. But coming back to the health insurance company, everyone should call them medical insurance companies because they're not health insurance companies. They're not about health. They're simply about covering emergent, catastrophic, or serious medical conditions. And if everyone would understand this concept really well, then the business of medicine will run much easier. Clients that sign up for a plan would not have unrealistic expectations. That simply because they pay a small fortune for their plan, it will cover every medical expense they might need. Because in that case, the medical insurance company will go bankrupt, will fail to exist. So they're simply choosing what they want to cover. And they don't, unfortunately, disclose that to you before you buy the plan. You just buy the plan and you have to go along with it. And literally, you have to buy the plan and hope you never have to use it. No matter how much we hate the medical insurance companies, and I don't know anybody who loves their insurance company. I don't know a single doctor who loves insurance companies simply because of what they stand for and how they operate. But no matter what is going on and how much we hate them, it will be a much better relationship amongst all of us, patients, doctors, insurance plans, If the customers of the medical insurance company will understand exactly what they can get, and they would actually consider what is their coverage before they show up for a medical consultation, rather than come in, have a visit with a doctor, and then spend agonizing minutes or hours, sometimes at home after the appointment, deciding whether they can afford the testing, the treatment, the medication, the procedure. At this point, it becomes an absolute waste of your time, the customer, and the time of the doctor as well, if you're not going to follow through with the testing, the procedure, the medication, or the treatment plan recommended. Because you decide, well, I don't want to pay what is not covered by the insurance company. And maybe you decided, well, this doctor is concierge. I would love to sign up, but it's too expensive because all my money is spent on an already too costly monthly premium. And again, this is the truth, and I'll repeat it even though I've said it before. We need the medical insurance companies for catastrophic high-cost expenses. Period. We definitely need them for every time you might require to be admitted to the hospital or have an emergency room visit, or God forbid, you have a heart attack, a stroke, break a bone, break a ligament, need surgery, even worse, develop cancer. Because believe me, all of these things cost a fortune. It is extremely well known that a very small percentage of Americans actually save money. So if you do not save any money to cover unexpected expenses, or you do not plan on covering your expenses for medical stuff when you go through difficult financial times, what do you really think will happen when there's an unexpected large medical expense? And the rate of that happening once you turn 50 and continue to advance in age is pretty high. Now, you can pause me right here, but take 1 or 2 minutes more after you pause the podcast and imagine the situation to where you need to pay $50,000 or more to a hospital for a treatment that's not covered, that is required to treat a medical condition that will otherwise leave you disabled or possibly lead to your demise. You can keep listening, but promise yourself that you will think about this matter and come up with a contingency plan should something like this ever happen to you, to your child, to your mother or father, or to your loving spouse. Maybe not $50,000, but what if you need to spend at least $5,000 every year on expenses not covered by your plan? And let me give you an example where this $5,000 to $10,000 can go really quickly every year. You need a series of IV vitamin infusions that are not reimbursed by your insurance as a covered benefit. You might get one every quarter, maybe 2 a year. You're looking at anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. Let's say you're at the age of 50, you require hormone therapy. Well, unless you choose a covered medication like the patch or the estradiol gel, if you have chosen to have pellet hormone therapy and you're a woman, you might as well budget for the cost of about $2,000 or plus a year. If you're a man and your insurance is not covering the testosterone pellet, then budget somewhere between $3,000 to $3,500 a year. Maybe you need vitamins and supplements to maintain your health, anywhere between $100 to $200 a month. And that is pretty much what an average American is actually spending on supplements. Now you're looking at $1,200 to possibly $2,000 or more a year on simply vitamins. Let's say you need a hyperbaric oxygen chamber session, anywhere between 30 minutes to 60 minutes. It can cost you $200 to $400. People usually get them in a package of 6 to 10. If they are to heal or improve something meaningfully, you do the math and how much that would cost. How about the fact that your doctor in your network, the few doctors that you have gone to that are accepting your insurance plan, are not helping you? Now you need to pay out of pocket another doctor that does not take your insurance and is simply out of network with your plan. Maybe budget somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 a year in consultation fees, maybe more. This might not even include the cost of functional medicine testing or additional blood testing that your insurance will not cover, as well as the cost of imaging tests. Just to give you a simple example, breast thermography for women, which are not covered. All these expenses stack up. I clearly ballparked it at $5,000, but it's easily more close to $10,000 if you add all these things up. So if you're someone that requires a pellet hormone therapy, IV vitamin therapy, IV vitamin infusions of NAD, hyperbaric oxygen, vitamins and supplements on a regular basis, then you're likely going to need to budget for all of these. What if you need weight loss support? 2/3 of Americans are either overweight or obese. We now have access to all these magical weight loss drugs. What if you're on a program where you have to spend $300 a month plus the cost of medication and consultations with the weight loss injections, which might not be available to you unless you pay the premium price? That's another $3,000 to $5,000 or more a year. It is extremely well known, again, that a very small percentage of Americans save money. So if you do not save any money to cover unexpected expenses, and you do not plan on covering your expenses when you're going through difficult financial times, what do you think will happen when now you have an unexpected large medical expense, and it's very important that you actually pay it? So promise yourself that you'll think about this. And if something ever happens to you, to your child, to your spouse, to your parents, you actually have some kind of contingency plan to take care of that. Now, I'd like to use a few minutes and discuss why some of the best doctors are going concierge and why you should be thankful and not angry or dismissive. If a doctor offers high quality care, takes the time needed to understand your true medical and personal needs, then that doctor can only do that, what I just said, and continue to accept your insurance plan by implementing a concierge fee. I have heard that many patients object to joining a concierge practice on a matter of principle. And here's the principle. I already pay a lot of money to the medical insurance company. Why do I need to pay another expensive monthly premium to my concierge doctor? Well, this is the truth. You might be paying an expensive monthly premium to your insurance plan, but that money is not going to your doctor. It has nothing to do with your doctor. It is simply going in the coffers of the medical insurance plan. Every single doctor you ask will tell you, and it's general common sense knowledge, that doctors are not paid their true worth by the medical insurance plan. And the medical insurance plan pays nothing at all to cover the medical personnel that support the practice, that receive the barrage of calls with questions about medications, that need to make or cancel or reschedule your appointments, that request medical information, that request medical refills and want to have pharmacy changes or any other pharmacy-related issues. The insurance plan does not pay for you to get access to a same-day appointment or for the additional time it takes to communicate regarding your medical care completely outside of a medical visit, which, believe me, people want communication with the doctor's office constantly after the visit has happened and before the visit is happening. The medical insurance plan does not pay for you to get a blood draw in a doctor's office, saving you the wait time in line at a major lab. The medical insurance plan does not pay the doctor for the many requests for emergent medication refills that come in every day. It does not pay for questions regarding your condition that require clarification on how to take a medication, or you're having an unexpected side effect and you need guidance and you don't want to have a medical visit. You simply call the office and want to be taken care of, but it's not a service that's reimbursed in any way, shape, or form, and you expect to have that done. Your medical insurance plan does not pay for the biller services. Remember, I told you that to accept the medical insurance plan, your doctor will have to have a biller because otherwise they wouldn't get paid. And that can cost anywhere between 5 and 10% of the medical insurance plan payments. And also your medical insurance plan does not pay for the time the doctor or their staff spend explaining insurance benefits to you when it's really not their job to do that. There are so many things your plan and the expensive monthly premium you pay for do not actually cover. So many doctors are simply putting a bow on it and calling it concierge. And it's simply an administrative fee that covers all of these circumstances and more. It doesn't have anything to do with your medical insurance because you still need to use it. You still need to pay your copay. You still need to pay your coinsurance, and you still need to pay your medical bills. But once you've joined a concierge practice and you've paid the annual or the monthly fee, you can now take all the time you need to get good care because the doctor is not going to worry and rush through 25 plus patients a day. The doctor will allow less patients, less appointments, will not double book because now they have some kind of a financial backing to where they can actually take the time that you need, that you deserve, and you desire to get to the root cause of your problem. Now you can feel supported by the medical staff because they're there for you and for your needs. Now the doctor can make payroll. Now the doctor can keep staff happy while keeping you, the customer, and the patient happy and healthy. A concierge private practice that accepts medical insurance is a hybrid between a clinic that takes your medical insurance. Let's call it a medical mill, where people come in, go out quickly, fast. It's a very fast-paced environment. You don't get the chance to ask questions. You think about a million things after you leave the doctor's office and they cannot be answered. And ultimately, you get no benefits from using or being at that appointment. And the other end of the spectrum, where you have to pay cash out of pocket, you get an hour or more with the doctor, you get to spend 2 hours in a medical office, but at the end of it, you have your questions answered, you have done a thorough consultation, you have a treatment plan that you understand, and you've had the opportunity to ask all questions and walk away with some supplements or vitamins. So the concierge practice that accepts your insurance, it's a hybrid between the crazy clinic where you have zero time with the doctor and you have to rush through your appointment and you can't talk to anybody outside of an appointment, and the high end where you pay cash out of pocket for everything, but you get the time and you get the care that you want. So it's up to you and it's your decision if you are going to choose a concierge practice. But whether you choose to do so or not, you need to re-look at your principles. If you're one of those people that believes, I already pay enough for my medical insurance, why do I need to pay for a concierge fee? Because as I've said before, what you pay for your monthly premium has nothing to do with the care you get from your doctor's office. The doctor is underpaid and is simply not getting their true worth for all the services that they provide when they accept your insurance plan. And here's another benefit. Usually doctors do not go concierge unless they have a true concierge practice. Just to give you an example, and that doesn't mean that all practices are the same, but when I decided to go concierge, it was because I had the staff that was available to support the demand for communication, because I implemented cell phones. And I have about 4 cell phones spread throughout the office where we text with patients regularly, and patients can get same-day responses to their concerns or schedule appointments via texting rather than picking up the phone and waiting until someone can answer the phone. Also, once I accumulated a certain amount of equipment and lasers and technology and knowledge, and I know I have come up with treatment plans that can address a wide range of conditions and issues like IV NAD, peptide therapy, IV vitamin therapy, hormone replacement therapy. This is what a true concierge practice will offer. Will offer a variety of services. It's not just the medical consultation. It's a true comprehensive wellness practice that can partner with you to achieve true wellness. So to end this episode and this series on being independently healthy, I really hope you have come to the conclusion that the only realistic, true way of achieving independence of your health from a broken medical system is if you plan for it, if you budget for it, and Last but not least, if you invest in your health constantly by being cognizant of the importance of eating well, eating healthy, fresh foods, exercising daily, dedicating time for fun and for rest, and dedicating money for vitamins, for supplements, for peptides, for hormones, for shockwave therapy, for muscle building therapy, for other key therapies that will keep you fit, energized, and happy, which will most likely happen with a concierge practice that is able to offer you all these amazing therapies and more. I end this episode by wishing you happy health, my dear listener, and I really hope that this mini series of episodes of Being Independently Healthy has provided you with some insight into why it is important to plan ahead and not just take your health for granted. Thank you for trusting me with your time, and thank you for listening to today's episode. If the content I provided wowed you, was helpful and valuable to either you or someone close to you, please do me a favor and leave me a review. I am very open and welcome any kind of feedback as well as suggestions on any content ideas. So please forward those suggestions to Jessica, my patient care coordinator, through our website, herabeautyandwellness.com. And I look forward to our time together next episode.